Hello, I'm Elaine Smith, the Artistic Director of the Clamour Theater Company. We're holding these creative conversations with playwrights, with actors, with directors, so that you can find out more about Clamour Theater and about the artists who work with us. Welcome to this edition of a Clamour Creative Conversation. Today, we're talking with Dana Leslie Goldstein, whose play Go Down Moses was part of Clay and Water 2020, our second annual Playwrights Retreat, and whose play Daughters of the Sexual Revolution was read last year in our ongoing virtual reading series. Welcome, Dana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So please introduce yourself to our viewers. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, your bio, whatever you would like us to know.
Sure. So first of all, I'm a New York playwright. I live in New York. I was born in New York. I've really only lived other places for school. So all of my work really is kind of informed by the New York feeling. But that doesn't mean today. So everything that I write is set in particular time periods. So it might be New York in the 1880s. It might be the 70s. It might be the 80s. Or maybe someday it'll be today. We'll see. But I just want to give a shout out to Northern Florida because for the last 30 years I've spent a fair amount of time around Orange Park, and I love it. So, in addition to being a New York playwright, I have that kind of Northern Florida feeling too. My husband's family is from there, and I'm there a lot. I was primarily just a playwright for a while, and then I started writing musicals too. So I now consider myself, I guess, a librettist, a lyricist, and a playwright. And, with this crazy year, I've also been thinking about turning some of my plays into miniseries or films. I've written a couple of screenplays. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet with that. But primarily I'm a playwright.
Okay, great. So now talk to us a little bit about either or both of the plays that we read, Go Down Moses and Daughters of the Sexual Revolution. Have they been through additional rewrites? Where do they stand now? What's going on?
Well, so the rewrite question is always yes. No, it'll probably be yes. If I live to be 100, it'll probably be yes. I'm sadly, I'm never satisfied. So I'm always tinkering, and theater is it's a living thing. It's even I think after something's published, if it goes into rehearsal and you have actors, they're alive, and that rehearsal process is going to inform what you did on the page. Sure. So I love being in the rehearsal room. So I can't be in the rehearsal room and not tinker. So yeah, Go Down Moses for sure has gone through major rewrites since we did it at Clamour. That was a great experience to have that reading at Clamour, and since then it's been it was done sadly on Zoom because of this year, on Zoom at Players Club of Swarthmore in Pennsylvania, and they're going to do it live. It was supposed to be live last summer, but of course we know what happened. And then they were thinking they might be able to have their new play festival this summer, but they're not ready. So next summer, and probably it'll have been rewritten 6 times before then. So, the play that they picked will not be the same play, but, sure. But I do think it's the same story, and it's just getting tighter and tighter. But it is also, it's a finalist for the Jewish Plays Project, nationally and regionally, and it's a semifinalist for Ashland New Plays and the Bay Area Playwrights Festival in California. So the play itself has been getting a fair amount of attention since it was done at Clamour. I mean, that's kind of, the last couple of years with that play has been the play of mine that's been getting the most focus. Okay. And then most recently it had a really terrific rehearsed reading, which was the most the thing that felt the most like a production to me of anything that's happened on Zoom this year, where we actually had a full rehearsal process and rewrites during the process, with Brave New World rep in Brooklyn. And I wish that Equity would let those recordings stay live so people could see them. But the fact that those recordings are available just for a couple of weeks makes it kind of more like theater. So it's there and then it disappears. It's ephemeral. But so that play has gone through much rewriting, and hopefully be on its feet in a live way, in not too much time.
That's great.
Daughters has had a different path. It was more finished by the time that we did it last year. So it was closer to being a draft I consider satisfactory, or should I say rehearsal ready is probably a better way to say it.
Okay.
Because I'll continue to rewrite it. But it's the way that it's kind of shaping in my head is I just started working on musicalization of it, which is it's kind of new to me to think of things that way. I've never, the musicals that I've written have always started as musicals. And this play, it's probably my most personal play. And it's just a play that I can't let go of it. And I'm in a librettist's workshop at BMI, which is, it's a major, musical theater workshop in New York. And I decided to pitch it as a musical, and song ideas just started coming to me. And I think what's going to happen next with that play is I'm turning it into kind of a chamber musical. I think about the size of like Fun Home or Next to Normal, like a small kind of rock kind of 70s feeling small cast show. So that's kind of what's happening with that one. Though I'm supposed to also be working on it with some people in California to turn it into a kind of high-end TV series, like an HBO kind of miniseries kind of thing. But the musical part of it is sort of, I don't know, that's what's inspiring me at the moment.
Cool. That's a lot going on. That's really exciting. So tell me now, do you have, I mean, most people answer this with the one I'm working on now, but the question is, do you have a favorite play of your own, whether it's produced or unproduced?
Yeah, I mean, it's Daughters. That's the play that like it just tugs at me, and my plays are never completely about me or something that happened to me, and everybody is based on an amalgamation of characters, but something about that play, the emotions in it are the most personal, just in my family. But if you'd asked me 5 years ago, it might have been different.
Right.
And I have a few short plays. That's been the weird thing about this year. There, as much as there's been no theater, there's been a lot of publishing happening. So I have a couple of short plays that are being published, and one of them is also kind of is really special to me. So
great. So now let's talk about this is a standard question I ask. What are 3 favorite plays that you've seen or read by other authors, and tell us what you like about them?
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of come at this from kind of a backwards way. So a criticism that I almost always get in workshops is that I've got too many characters that are having a journey. I've got a whole ensemble, even if it's a 6-character play. Everybody changes from the beginning to the end, and I need to focus on one main character. I love plays that don't focus on one main character. I love plays that are about the community, where even the smaller characters are real, are 3-dimensional, and have a growth. And I hope actors appreciate that. I think that they do, so that if you're playing a smaller part, you still have a journey. So the playwrights that I love do that. I love Chekhov. Good Chekhov is is for me the best. Bad Chekhov is terrible. But when a Chekhov production is good, it's so funny and so heartbreaking, and everybody's interesting. August Wilson does that. His everybody in his plays has something going on. And I guess I've gone through phases too. Like I've had a Carol Churchill phase. I've had a Tennessee Williams phase. It changes. I have had a Tom Stoppard phase. But I think, probably my all-time favorite play is Raisin in the Sun. Because you can get in the head of everybody in that play, and it's so real and universal. And but Our Town is a close second. No. Sorry, Elaine, I could just go on.
Everybody can kind of. It's a fascinating question because it just
and I didn't even mention the musicals.
Right. Sure. No. Yes, that's a whole other genre and a whole other list. We could do that.
1776.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
West Side Story, Fun Home.
Okay. Good. Well, that's great. So terrific. So for our viewers, if you would like to read plays by Dana, you can look for them on the New Play Exchange website at newplayexchange.org. For Clamour Theater Company news and events, check out our website at clamourtheater.org, and you can find us on Facebook as Clamour Theater Company. We will post all of those URLs in the description below. And if you'd like to see more interviews like this one, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Dana, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today and letting our audience get to know something about you. We are so glad you have been able to be part of the Clamour community.
Oh, thank you. The residency was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.